Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Taimur Abdelaziz, and in this tutorial I will be showing you how to create image overlay hover effects using Oxygen Page Builder. So as you can see on the screen, I've created different overlay effects, and I will start with a fixed overlay, a fade overlay effect, a slide to top effect, a slide to right, slide to left, and finally cover overlay with a fade effect. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing, let's add a section. Then I will add a row of 3 columns. I will select the first column. Then I will add a link grabber. I will give this link grabber a class of card. So let's start styling this class. I will go to the advanced, layout, and set the position to relative, the display to inline block, and the overflow to hidden, just to make sure that the content will be clipped inside our link grabber. Now let's add an image. I will pick one from the media library. Then I'll select my link grabber again, our card block again, and add a div block inside, and I will give it a class of overlay. Now let's start styling this class. I will go to the advanced, to the layout. I will set the position to absolute, the left to 10, right to 10, and the bottom to 10. Then I will go back to the background. I will give it a black background with a 60% opacity. Then I will go back to size and spacing, and I will give it a padding of 15 pixels and apply to all sides. Now let's add some content to our overlay block. I will select the overlay block and I will add a heading. I will change the size to H3, change the content, I will give it a name, then I will change the color to white. I will select the overlay block again and add another heading, change the size to H6. I will change the content, then I will give it a gray color. So as you can see, we have created our first card here. Now let's add some transition to our overlay block. Okay, so I will select the card. I will make sure from the structure panel, I will make sure that I'm selecting the link grabber, our card block. Then I will hit duplicate component. I will drag it to the second column. I will change the image. Change the name. The title. So as you can see, we have now the second color. Now I want to add a fade transition or fade to the overlay block. Okay, so when we hover over the card, we want this overlay block to fade. Okay, so the first thing, the idea here is to disable or hide this overlay block by setting the opacity to 0. Then when I hover over the card, it will appear again by setting the opacity to 1. So the first thing to do here, I will not work on the overlay class, but I will add a modifier class, a new class to this overlay, and I will name it fade. I will add a new class. This will work as a modifier just to make this fade effect. Okay, so I will add this class fade. Then I will go to the advanced effects, opacity, and I will set the opacity to 0. So as you can see, it disappears now. Okay, so I want to show this block, this fade block, when I hover over the card. So how can I achieve that? I can do this by adding a custom selector from the selectors panel here, but I will add it in a different way. So when I hover over the card, this fade block will appear as a fade in a fade effect, a fade transition. So how can I do this? I will select the card component here, and I will add the new state here. I will add new state to the card components. It's a bit tricky, but it's very useful, and that's why I love Oxygen Page Builder, because it's so flexible and developer friendly. So I will add a new state here, and I will write hover space dot fade. So this, what does this mean? This, when I hover over the card block, we will target this fade class. Okay, so I will hit OK. Now I will go to the advanced, to the effects, and return the opacity to 1. Okay, so as you can see now, when I hover over the card, our overlay block appears again. Okay, one last thing to do here is to add a transition, like a smooth transition. I will select the overlay, not the fade. I will add the transition to the overlay, to the main class. Why? Because I don't want to repeat this step again and again, because I will make another example, so many examples. So I will not repeat this process again and again. So I will add the transition to the main overlay class. I will select the overlay class from here. Then I will go to the advanced. I will go to the effects, transition, and I will add the duration of 0.3 seconds. The timing function to ease in out. The CSS properties to animate will be opacity, comma, and transform. Why transform? Because in the next examples I will animate the transform property, so I will add it from now. So I will just hit save and go to the front end, refresh. So this is our first card. Then this is the second card. So as you can see, on hover, it shows on hover, a fade transition, smooth fade transition. Okay, now let's add another example here. I will select the first one, the first card, the first link grabber, the first card. I will duplicate it. Then I will drag it to the third column. I will change the image to something else, and I will pick another name with another title. So what we want to do in this example, we want to hide this overlay block, and when we hover over the card, we want this overlay block to slide to top. It comes from bottom to top. So what to do, we will do the same thing we did here. I will add a modifier class to the overlay. Okay, I will select the overlay block, and from here I will add a new class, a new modifier class, and I will name it slide to top. Slide to top, because this is what's gonna happen when we hover over the card. Slide to top. Okay, so we will do the same idea we applied here in the second example. At first, we will hide this slide to top block. Okay, class. We will hide it. We will move it down and set the transparency to 0. And by using the transform property, we will push it down. Then when we hover over the card, we want it to back to top with a transition. So now I will style the slide to top. I add a slide to top class to this overlay. So I will go to the advanced, go to the effects. The first thing, I will push it down. I will go to the transform. I will add new transform property here, and I will use translate. The translate property will move the block. Translate X, we will not translate it in an X direction. We will push it in the Y direction, push it down. So I will change it to 100%. I will add 100%. So as you can see, it pushes down. Then I will set the opacity to 0 at the same time. So as you can see, it disappeared here. Okay? So we will do the same thing we did in the first example. We will select the card, our card. Then we will add a new state. Okay? This state, when we hover over the card, this state will target our slide to top class. Okay? So now we go to the states here. I will add new state. Hover. So when we hover over the card, we want to target the class which is slide to top. Okay, so when we hover over the card, the slide to top, we will add some properties here. We'll go to the advanced effects. We will return the opacity to 1. Then we will go to the transform and return the translate Y to 0. Okay, so as you can see now, when we hover over the card, the overlay block with a slide to top class modifier, it will show like this. But there is a bug here in Oxygen Page Builder. It works fine now in the back end, but when I hit save and go to the front end and hit refresh, so nothing will happen here. It's like there's a problem here. And when I inspect this to see what's the problem, I will select now the card, our card link grabber. I will go to the hover. I will go to the states here and select hover. Then I will select the slide to top again. And as you can see here, the transform property is blank. I believe that this is a bug in Oxygen Page Builder. When you set translate Y to 0, it seems like there's nothing here, so it gives you an empty value. So I hope that the guys behind Oxygen Page Builder will fix this. So what to do to fix this? We will add it manually. So we will delete this one and go back to the custom CSS, and we will add it manually. I will say transform, and I will set translate Y to 0 like this. Okay, I will apply the code, collapse, save. I will go back to the front end, refresh. So as you can see now, it appears, as you can see. So we achieved now the fixed block, the fixed card overlay, the hover, the fade transition, then the slide to top. The rest of examples will do the same thing. Okay, I will select the section and I will add another row of 3 columns. Okay, now I will duplicate our first card. Then I will just grab to the first column here. Okay, so let's change the image to something else. Then I will change the name and the position. Now what we want to do here, we will push this overlay to with a negative value to the left. Then when we hover over the card, we want this overlay to move to, or to slide to right, slide to the right border. Okay, slide to right when you hover over the card. So we will do the same thing we did in the first examples. I will select the overlay here. Okay, then I will add a new modifier class and I will name it slide to right. Okay, so slide to right. Now we will do the same thing. We will go to the advanced effects. I will set the opacity to 0. Then I will go to the transform and add new transform property, translate. Then I will translate the x-axis, okay, in the x direction. What to do to make this hover go far to the left? I will give not 100% value, but minus 100% value. Minus 100%. So this will push it to the left, completely to the left edge. Okay, so this is now the normal state of the slide to right. So to show this overlay, or to slide to right again, we will do the same thing. I will select the card, our card again. Okay, then I will add new state here. Add state. On hover, when we hover over the card, space dot slide to right. So what we want to do when we hover over the card, we want to target this slide to right class. Okay, so I will hit OK. Then I will go to the advanced effects. I will return the opacity to 1. Okay. Then, as you know, there's a bug in the transform when we set the value to 0. So we will add this manually, as we did in the last example. We will say the transform translate x this time, and I will set it to 0. Okay, I will apply the code, collapse the editor. So as you can see, it's like this. It slides to right. So let's save and check if this is work fine in the front end. Yes, it works perfect. Okay, again, I'll select our first card, duplicate, and I will grab it to the second column and the bottom row. Okay, I will change the image to something else. Change the name. Then what we will do the same thing we did in the last example, but slide to left. Here it's a slide to right. Now we want to slide it to left. In this example, it slides to right. Now we will reverse the process. Okay, so I will select the overlay class here. I will add new modifier class, which is slide to left. We did the slide to right, now slide to left. Okay, so the same thing, I will go to the effects. I will set the opacity to 0. Then I will go to the transform, add new transform property. In this case, translate. We will push this block to the right edge, which means pushing it 100% of its width. So I will set 100%. So now it's pushed completely out of to the right border. Now the same thing we did in the previous examples. I will select the card, our main card again. I will select main card again, and I will add new state here. Add new state. When we hover over the card, we want to target the slide to left block. Okay, I will hit OK. Then I will go to the advanced effects. I will return the opacity to 1. Then I will go to the custom CSS and make the transform back to 0. Transform translate x to 0. Apply the code, collapse. So as you can see here, now it slides to left, to the left border. This is slides to the right, this is slides to the left. Save refresh, it works perfect. Now the last example here, I will go to our first card, select the link wrapper, make a duplication, then I will drag this to our final column here, the third column, change the image to something else. Then I will give it a different name. Now what we want to do here, we want to change the overlay, the main overlay block, okay? So I don't want the overlay to be at the bottom. I want it to be full, to cover the full block. So in this case, I will change the main overlay block. So we will modify some properties here. So I will select the overlay now. I will go and add new class, which is overlay cover. Okay, what to do now? I added a new class, a completely new class, overlay cover. What to do? I don't want to modify or change the main overlay class, because it will affect the other elements here or other blocks here. So what to do here? I will copy the styles and paste them on this, which is a good feature on Oxygen Page Builder. I will go now to the copy styles to another selector here. I will click copy styles to another selector. Then I will select the overlay cover. Now all the classes of the overlay copied to the overlay cover. Now we will delete the main overlay. We don't need this anymore. I will delete. And as you can see, all the classes applied now to the overlay cover. One thing to change here in the overlay cover, I will go to the advanced, to the layout, and I will set also the top to 10 pixels. So as you can see now, the overlay covers the whole card, okay? Now we want the text and the subtitles to appear in the center. Very easy. I will go to the primary here and I will set the child elements to appear vertically as a column. Then I will make this center and the vertical to middle. So as you can see, the text appears in this vertically centered, okay? So now I can add, this is the good thing in the flexibility in what we did before. Now I can add any one of those modifier classes to this overlay. Okay, so when I select this overlay, I can add now the fade, which is, I already did this before, so I will add this fade. As you can see now, it has a fade effect. I hit save, refresh, it has now a fade effect. The same thing, I can select the overlay and I will remove the fade and add something else like slide to right, for example. Okay, save, refresh. So as you can see, now it has slide to right effect. So you actually you can add whatever you want to this overlay to apply a transition. I prefer the fade one, the first one, the fade. So I will delete the slide to right and add fade, the fade one. Save, refresh. So as you can see, it fades now with a full cover. That's it for this tutorial. We created a fixed overlay, a fade, slide to top, slide to right, slide to left, then finally a cover overlay with a fade effect. So I hope you liked this tutorial. If you like this kind of content, please like and share so I can add more videos. Thank you.